Is your hat causing hair loss, or is it even enhancing it? Today, we're diving into the science of hats and hair loss to find out if headwear could really be putting you at risk of going bald. Stick around because we're also busting some popular myths along the way. Where did the hat hair loss myth come from? Let's rewind a bit and think about why this idea of hats causing baldness has been around for so long. A few generations back, men wore hats as daily accessories. Look at photos from the 30s and the 40s and after, everyone was wearing hats. Many believe that because older men from this era were often balding, people assumed that hats were the reason. This was before we had a solid understanding of genetics and the role of hormones on hair loss, so hats were an easy target. Here's the science behind hair loss, genetics, hormones, and DHT. Alright, here's where the science comes in. The most common cause of hair loss in men is something called androgenic alopecia, also known as male pattern baldness. This type of hair loss is linked to genetics and is heavily influenced by hormones called dihydrotestosterone or DHT. A study published in the Journal of Investigation Dermatology showed that DHT binds the receptor in hair follicles, causing them to shrink, and over time this leads to shorter, fine hair, and eventually the follicles stop producing hair entirely. So it's your hormones and genetics that have the final say in hair loss, not your choice of hat. What do studies say about hats and hair loss? Can wearing a hat make it worse if you're already losing hair? Let's look at what the research says. A 2013 study published in Dermatology Research and Practice looked at external factors like hats, helmets, and head covering and found no significant correlation between wearing headwear and increased hair loss. This means that the idea of hats causing baldness doesn't hold up under scientific research. In simple terms, if you're going to go bald, wearing a hat don't make it worse. That said, can wearing a hat still impact your scalp or hair in any way? While hats don't cause hair loss directly, a few things to consider include scalp hygiene, hair flow, and comfort. Wearing a hat that's too tight could potentially lead to traction alopecia. It's a type of hair loss caused by tension on the hair follicles. But this usually only happens by constantly pulling, like tight ponytails, braids, or headwear worn excessively tight. A 2017 study in International Journal of Trichology explained that traction alopecia typically affects people with certain hairstyles, not those who wear hats casually. If a hat is comfortable and doesn't pull your hair, there's a little chance it will lead to hair loss. But how hat material and cleanliness could impact your scalp? One thing worth considering is the material of your hat and how clean you're keeping it. Hats made from synthetic material can sometimes trap heat and moisture, leading to sweaty scalp, which may not be the greatest thing for scalp health. A clean, breathable hat made from cotton or wool allows hair circulation and keeps the scalp dry. Sweat and bacteria buildups on a hat can contribute to scalp irritation and conditions like dandruff, which could weaken hair over time if not addressed. So wash your hats regularly to keep them clean and scalp friendly. Let's dig in celebrity example and popular myths. You might wonder, if hats cause baldness, then why do we still see so many athletes and actors wearing hats, like LeBron James or Tom Hardy wearing them all the time? The reality is, even celebrities who experience hair loss, like LeBron, are probably dealing with genetic factors rather than the choice of headwear or hats. In other words, if hats cause hair loss, we'd see far more cases of baldness among celebrities and stars. Let's clear up some common misconceptions surrounding hats and hair loss. Myth number 1. Hats blocks blood flow to hair follicles. This one is not true. Hats rest on the scalp, but don't apply enough pressure to block blood flow. For blood flow to be affected, the pressure will have to be extreme, far more from the average baseball cap could provide. Myth number 2. Hats make your hair fall out faster. This is not true. Hair sheds naturally due to the hair cycle growth, not because of friction of your hat. Studies support that wearing a hat doesn't interfere with this natural process. Myth number 3. Tight hats can cause permanent hair loss. Only if they're so tight that they're causing noticeable tension on the scalp. Think of it like braids or ponytails that are too tight. For a hat to cause traction alopecia, it would need to be overly tight and worn constantly, really marking and leaving some marks on your scalp. Here are 4 tips for keeping hair and scalp healthy if you love wearing hats. Number 1. Choose breathable fabrics. For cotton or other natural fibers that allows your scalp to breathe, avoid synthetic materials that can trap heat and moisture. Tip number 2. Wash your hat regularly. Keep your hat clean to prevent sweat and bacteria buildup. This will help keep your scalp healthier and less prone to irritation. Tip number 3. Avoid tight hats. Make sure your hat fits comfortably. It shouldn't leave marks on your forehead or feel restricted. Tip number 4, give your scalp a break. Let your hair and scalp breathe for a bit instead of constantly covering it. Alright, so what's the verdict? Can hats cause hair loss? According to research, there is no direct link between wearing a hat and going bald. Genetics and hormones are primary cause of hair loss, and a comfortable, clean hat won't make a difference. So wear that hat with confidence, just make sure it's breathable, it fits well, and it's kept clean. Your scalp and your hair will thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell if you want to be notified. And also comment if anyone has ever told you that hats cause hair loss. Ciao.